Let's jump into another CNN panel discussing the conversation around DEI, especially in comparison to Trump's cabinet and the chaos we've already seen not even 2 weeks into the second Trump administration. Hey you, yes, you! We now have a Substack website where you can help support the channel. For just $8 a month, you can get daily articles exposing the chaos in Trump's first 100 days, a weekly podcast, and other exclusive perks, all while helping the channel grow and defend democracy. This is something that's not just very important to me, but enables us to get our message out to the most amount of people while also being just a genuine passion that I would love to pursue. So for those who have been wondering how to support the channel, how to help us grow, you can sign up now at the first link in our description. Thank you, and let's get back to the video.
Trump surrounds himself with lackeys who have historically been shown that they are motivated to sort of backfill and retrofit evidence to fit whatever his predetermined conclusion is. So if we want to prevent tragedies like this from happening again, I would not trust whatever investigation they put together, because Trump has already determined that the cause of this problem is DEI. If there's something else that's lurking here that could put people at risk again, we may not find out.
I actually do. I've talked to a lot of aviation experts this week. I have confidence in the NTSB. That is a gold standard agency in this country and honestly in the entire world of aviation. But I mean, to her point, I think there are questions about whether this is going to be a witch hunt for the evidence to support this claim. They are going to be hunting down the people who fit the DEI narrative.
Not to beat a dead horse, but this is, again, how fascism happens. Trump now controls the narrative on everything. His base also won't trust academia, and all dissenters are not credible because of TDS or some other made-up thing that they can use to just discredit you if they don't like what you're saying. So facts no longer matter here, just Donald Trump's convoluted beliefs and things that go along with him, as he can also utilize the people around him in these agencies to just confirm them rather than how they're supposed to be used and coming to a factual conclusion, which makes things like this plane crash story scary. If there is a true failure of the system or something that caused this that needs addressed, we may never learn that, because Trump is clearly obsessed and has tunnel vision on making this a DEI thing. So that's what it's going to be. And this just puts everyone at further risk, all in the name of bigotry.
I know a number of people who voted for Donald Trump for the first time. They were so disgusted than what they felt was happening in the Biden administration. I talked to many of them this week. Instead of talking about the economy, I was fielding questions on whether or not the Trump administration wanted to stop commemorating Black History Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month.
This is the directive at a lot of the agencies, but DOD today put out a memo saying no more celebration of history months.
Or Holocaust Remembrance Day, or MLK
So
Day.
I was fielding all of these questions. So when people said that they voted for Donald Trump because they were concerned about, the price of eggs and all of these type of things, because of Donald Trump's own doing, we're having to have this conversation about DEI. DEI, for many people, and I call them the woke right, it has become a stand-in for being Black and unqualified.
I wrote a really in-depth article on this in my Substack on the first link in my description if you're interested, but this is just the rebirth of the age-old Republican attacks on culture, and it's being repackaged as wokeism, where it's an easier sell because, the sell to people is just convince them, oh, they're discriminating against you because you're white, by doing quotas and blah, blah, playing on white fright and all of this. So they're bought into it, and then you can say that you're destroying wokeism and ridding of DEI and all of this when you actually look into what they're doing, and they're calling for culturally Black-centered holidays to no longer be celebrated, like MLK Day. They're having federal regulations against discrimination based on race or gender being removed. Slavery is to be stopped being taught in schools. The N-word is to not be censored on social medias. Things like the Tuskegee Airmen of the first Black pilots is not to be commemorated. I mean, it's really heinous and clearly bigoted and culturally targeted stuff towards ethnic minorities, but it's nothing new. Republicans have long waged this war on culture in different ways, dating back to the Southern strategy, really.
This is a completely bad faith effort on the part of the Trump administration and Trump's allies. And they don't care about qualifications, because you can just look at the qualifications of the white people who Donald Trump has nominated to lead 2024 elections. And you can see that they're not departments and agencies. I mean, these are among the least qualified people that the Senate has ever considered. When you look at a guy like Pete Hegseth, who ran 2 nonprofits into the ground and had to be fired from those roles, who has, confessed to alcohol abuse and certainly has never done anything close to running the Department of Defense in a department of its size. When you look at Tulsi Gabbard, who, is literally someone who many people, I think, accurately describe as a national security threat, now poised to become the director of national intelligence. When you look at a guy like RFK, who's supposed to be over public health in this country, but doesn't believe in science and pushes dangerous conspiracy theories.
And doesn't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, according to his confirmation hearing.
Because to Republicans, being white is a merit. They're never going to question the qualifications or the merit of a hiring if it's a straight white Christian man. Trump got his vastly inexperienced and unqualified daughter to be the RNC chair. And in this speech, in her acceptance, they literally said, God doesn't call on the qualified, he qualifies those he calls. Speaking to how she didn't have any qualifications or experience for the position. The standard of merit you see is only held above the heads of Black people. It's just another obstacle in the road to equality. And it's the same cycle we've seen where freedom is always dangled in front of minority groups, but always a little too far and with obstacles to jump through for them to get to it. But just close enough to where you can always be like, it's not us, it's you. Like, look how close you are. You're doing a lot better than you were in the past. And just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You'll get there. Meanwhile, what it is that we're having to jump through obstacles to achieve, just to, if we do achieve it, have it questioned at every turn, they've had handed to them for generations with no questions asked.